Hey everyone, Reaper here again with another video. What I'd like to do is I have a couple books here, and I basically wanted to talk about why exactly I bought this. Because I think a lot of people, collectors, whatever, sometimes we ask ourselves this question after a purchase. Why did I buy this? And sometimes before we make a purchase, we ask ourselves why we want to buy this. So I just figured I'd talk about it concerning a couple of books here. So we'll start off with this one. Tales from the Crypt, number 20. Why did I buy this? Originally, I had a CGC copy of this. It was a real low-grade copy. It was a 1.5. So I asked myself sometime after I bought it, why did I buy this book? I mean, I like Tales from the Crypt. I want to finish my Tales from the Crypt run. I have every intention of doing that. But why did I buy one that was so low? Well, at the time when I purchased the original book, the original copy I had before I upgraded to this one, at the time I thought that, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find another copy. And another thought that was in my head is, it's cheap enough. I don't need anything higher. But after I bought it, you could almost say that there was somewhat of a buyer's regret. So I started asking myself that question over why did I buy this? So eventually I sold it off. But like I said a few moments ago, I always wanted a Tales from the Crypt 20 in my collection, so I wanted to get another copy. And that's what led me to get this. And for those of you that watched, I believe it was Comic Book Haul number 36. That's the one where I showed I got this. So you heard that story on how I got it. So I was really fortunate that this particular copy fell in my lap for the price it did. But the reason why I purchased this copy was because I wanted it in my collection. I mean, I think a lot of us, are collectors at heart. And I do think that some of us buy books to sell so that we could buy more books or other things, the flippers in the community. I think we all are a little bit of both for the most part. I mean, I'm sure there are some that are just complete flippers or some complete collectors. The two shall not meet. But I think for the most of us, we are both collectors and flippers. We like the hobby. We've been in the hobby for a while, or we just got into it. We're really into it. But when we see a deal that's too good to pass by, or a deal where we can get another copy that we can maybe sell down the line, we take it for the most part. Now, moving on to the second book. Why did I buy this book? Eternals 1. I have 2 copies of this. This is the only one that I got graded. The other copy I have right here. I think I chose not to get this one graded. I mean, I guess a press could bring this up to maybe an 8.5. I think it's probably an 8 as it is. So it's not a bad copy. But anyway, I bought both of these books at the same time from the same dealer. This was right after the announcement of the Eternals. It was going to be a movie. And I went to the East Coast Comic Con, and I was able to find 2 copies of this. And of course, it was all on the wall. All these, Eternals 1 was on the wall, Eternals 2 and Eternals 3. All of a sudden, they became wall books overnight when they were really just, $5 books, $10 books, books that you would find in short or long boxes at comic shows or comic stores. So I was fortunate enough to find both of these for a fairly good price. I forget what video it was. It was a few years ago now. It was, I think, East Coast Comic Con 2017 or something like that, where I tell the story on how I got both of these books. But anyway, so why did I buy them? Now, honestly, I didn't even know who the hell the Eternals were. I didn't know who they were. I mean, I was collecting, I was a comic fan for several years, and I might have heard of them, but I just didn't remember them. That's how much of an impact they made on me. So it boils down to, so why did I get both books? I bought both books for the specific reason to sell. Remember I was talking about selling a few moments ago? How I think we all have that in us, that yes, we enjoy the hobby. We are collectors. There's some of us that will only hold on to certain books, but everything else we won't either buy or we'll just sell down the line. There are some of us that will hold on to a majority of our collection. It varies from person to person. But I do think deep down that if we are presented with a deal for something, we'll buy it. Maybe some of us hold on to it, but I think a lot of us, if we get a high grade like this, it's a 9.6, it's not a 9.8, we'll buy something to hopefully sell down the line and make a profit so that we can get something that we really want. This is not news to anybody. I'm not making any sort of real revelations. I think this is all common knowledge among everybody in the community. That's what we do. But for the purposes of this video, I'm talking about why did I buy specific books. I told you I bought Tales from the Crypt because I wanted it in my collection. It was only after the fact, with the original copy I had, I said, you know what, I want to try to get something better. Let me sell this and get the money and use it for something else. And then eventually I found my personal collection copy. But with the Eternals, it's a little bit of a different story. I didn't buy Eternals 1 so that I could have the first appearance of the Eternals in my personal collection. I bought them both to specifically sell. Now, will I sell this one down the line? Who knows? Never say never. I mean, it depends on if the price is right. Depends on if Eternals really does anything. I'm sure it'll do well in the theaters. I don't know how it'll do critically. I don't know how it'll do among the fans where it changes the price of the book, Eternals 1 and others. I don't know. But that's the reason why they were purchased. That was the sole reason. It's because of that reason sometimes I forget that they're actually in my collection. When I think about my collection, I think about my ECs, like, Tales from the Crypt 20, because they're very important to me. And I think about some of the other Marvel Silvers and other books that are in my collection. I forget that I have Eternals 1 in my collection because it wasn't bought with the idea that this is something I'd hold on to. But let's just say for whatever reason, I'd sell this when the time is right, when I feel the time is right. But let's just say for whatever reason I don't sell it. It's no big deal because I think I paid $50 for both of these. So it's really not something that I put a lot of money into a long-term investment. I mean, it was purchased to sell, but if for whatever reason I don't sell them, it's really no big deal. I didn't put that much. I don't have that much into them. But I know I'm probably going to sell at least one of them. But that's it. There are plenty of other books in my collection that have similar stories to these two. I bought them because I wanted them in my collection. I finally was able to get it, or I upgraded it, whatever variation. And there are some that I bought specifically to sell. And there are some that were in my collection that were bought specifically to sell. And I sold them because I felt the time was right, or I just wanted to unload them. But I'm sure that, like I said earlier, I think a lot of us have this, have this in us. A lot of us who are collectors, and sometimes we do sell to buy other things that we really, really want. So with that being said, as I close this video, leave in the comments some books that you may have upgraded or you may have had regret. I mean, it's not really a video about comic book buying regrets. I mean, so it has a little bit of buyer's remorse in it with the original Tales from the Crypt 20 book I bought, but it's not really about that. I guess what I would like to know is what books are in your collection or were in your collection that you bought specifically to sell? Specifically to sell. I would be interested to hear about it or hear about them. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.